Welcome back to the Wolverine.com and the Wolverine.com podcast. I am Anthony Broome here with Clayton Sayfie, and I won't say we're short on time, but we have a lot to get to today because this is a special event. This is both podcast and video ahead of spring game week here with the University of Michigan football team. We are here on Tuesday. I believe the date is the 29th. We talked to Mike Elston today and Grant Newsome. It's really kind of the calm before the storm of what this spring game is on Saturday. So some notes on what the spring game format will be, just because we've gotten a lot of questions on that. So they will be playing an actual spring game. There will be a maize team and a blue team. Steve Klinkscale and Sharon Moore will coach each of those teams. I forget which coach coordinates with what color, but players will draft it. They will be playing 12-minute quarters. They'll have a 12-minute halftime. It will be on Big Ten Network at noon if you can't be at the Big House on Saturday. So now that that's out of the way, Clayton and I have been talking about this for a few weeks. We are going to draft our own spring game teams. And what we will do is we will go, we have our board set. We came up with draft boards for ourselves. We are going to take 25 guys. I'll just run down position by position what we're looking at right now. You need a quarterback. You need one running back. You need 3 wide receivers. You need a tight end. You need one offensive weapon who can be any of those players on offense. 5 starting offensive linemen, 2 edge rushers, 3 defensive linemen, 2 inside linebackers, 3 cornerbacks, 2 safeties, and 1 kicking specialist. That can be a punter, kicker, whatever we decide. Obviously, options are limited there. So that is going to be how we format this. Clayton, before we get to, we have to do the coin toss. Of course, we're going to be, we will also do the maize team and blue team thing, but the loser of the coin toss will get to pick what color they are. This is all very structured here. But before we get into it, Clayton, is there anything you think that we should clarify for the audience here?
Yeah, just the format that it will be a snake draft. So the winner of the coin toss gets the number 1 pick. I guess they could defer and not want the number 1 pick, but I assume the winner would want the number 1. And then the other person gets pick 2 and 3. Then the guy who had the number 1 gets 4 and 5, and so on until the 25th. They get the last one. And we go like that. We debated it, but figured that was the most fair. But I think that's the only thing that otherwise people would be confused about. I just want to say as well, I am probably way too excited for this, like way more excited than I should be. I think you're pumped too. So some fun content coming to the Wolverine.com. Excited for it. So
yeah, we will be spinning this off into other content items throughout the week, and we haven't really finalized this yet. We might go back and revisit these teams after we see what the spring game is. It's our understanding that Michigan is going to keep stats for this, so it'd be cool to kind of go back and see whose performers did what, a la kind of a fantasy team here. So one other note, major injuries that we know of in spring football. JJ McCarthy, full disclosure, JJ McCarthy hasn't been throwing because he's had the shoulder issue. So he's not on my board, Clayton. Rod Moore is not on my board. And there's one more. Jaden McBurrows is not on my board, the defensive backs. Because I think those are the 3 that we've been told are kind of like out for the spring.
Not
those are out or limited.
Public ones. Yeah.
Is there anyone else I'm missing there?
Some other bumps and bruises that aren't public right now that I don't think we should do anything with for the purpose of a spring mock draft. So, and I don't think nothing significant, by the way, no starters or anything other than those guys. So
cool. Well, you have decided to, because we're just going to jump right into it now. We have a lot to get to, 50 picks here. We'll move quick. We'll save explanations for picks, kind of. We'll give little snap thoughts, and I'm sure someone will take someone that the other guy wanted, but we'll save more kind of the takeaways and breakdown of it for some of the other stuff we're planning for the website. So
we're going to have a poll. Sorry, we're going to have a poll as well for subscribers to vote on who has a better team. And like you said, we're going to reveal our strategies. I actually wrote out a few notes, but we're going to expand more on it. So it should be pretty good.
Okay. Well, you have entrusted me. This is for the people on video. You guys listening to the audio after the fact will not be able to see this, but you have entrusted me for some reason with the coin flip that I won't fudge the numbers or anything. But basically, since I have the coin here, I'm just going to let you call it in the air. And I'm not, again, I don't have a Bible next to me, but this is the God's honest truth of
Yep.
what the coin flip will be. So I'm gonna flip now, and you just call it.
All right. Tails never fails. Need
Clayton,
it.
it is tails.
Oh,
So
let's go.
do you want to pick your color or take your pick?
That determines a lot. I'll take the first pick. I have
Okay.
to. I feel bad, but
That's good
somebody
because
had
I
to
was
win it.
kind of planning for me not having the number one pick. So that's good. It works out. So
I was kind of doing that too, but here we go.
all right. Well, I will be blue then if you want to be maize.
I'll take
If
all
that's
Mays.
cool.
I believe for the actual game, Clink is coaching the Mays, and Sharon is the head coach of the Blue. And then Sharon's paired up with Minter. Clink is paired up with Matt Weiss. So those will
Cool.
be the staffs. And then Jim Harbaugh's the commissioner. But yeah, let's do this. You want me to give my first pick?
May as well. I think I know what it is, but you can go. You can fire it off.
Yeah, and I'll ask you this right after I. So with the first pick in the 2022, the Wolverine.com spring mock draft, Clayton Sayfie, the team. What am I, Mays?
Team Maze. Yep.
Picks Cade McNamara,
I figured that
quarterback
would be
out
the
of
case.
Reno, Nevada. Had to. I mean, with JJ out, number one pick. Was that going to be your number one too if you had him?
It would have been. I think
It
that
has to be
when you
with the way this goes. Otherwise, I wouldn't have cared if it was JJ and Cade. Honestly, I would wait probably until the end. I wouldn't have really cared who my quarterback was because they're both great options. And honestly, if we're going by the poll, people probably would have voted for. There's factions that would vote for either. So
Well, it really
um,
does change the way that once you have your quarterback, you can build your team around whatever. Knowing that there's a jump or a gap in the depth chart from there, probably have to build mine a little bit differently than you can build yours now. But so going to me for back to back picks, I got to get my quarterback, or else you could take someone and totally screw me over. So I'll go with the guy that we've heard a lot about as having a good spring. I'll go with Davis Warren, not someone
wow,
that anyone would probably pick as number two overall, but I get the back-to-back picks here, so I wanted to just secure my quarterback, get that out of the way. So we'll go Davis Warren. He is a walk-on. I'm sure we'll be doing a story on him soon, but apparently has had a really good spring and has been taking those second-team reps with J.J. McCarthy out. So I'll go Davis Warren, and then just getting into it for my next pick, I'm going to take as versatile an offensive prospect as I can get because obviously I have a little bit less proven quarterback here. I'm going to go with Donovan Edwards. Can catch the ball out of the backfield, can obviously run the ball out of the backfield, and I think that he is someone who is going to be used a ton this year. So Donovan Edwards would be my second pick, third pick overall.
outstanding pick at number 3. I'm very, very surprised you went with Davis Warren at 2 because I was thinking even if I tried to screw you like that, or yeah, he took one of them as my offensive weapon, you could have just taken Alan Bowman later. But I'm surprised at that. But Donovan Edwards, great pick. I was about to screw you with these next 2 picks and take Blake Corum, who's going to go as my next pick, and Donovan Edwards, so that you would have neither. But I'll take Blake Corum, and I will take Junior Colson at linebacker.
Interesting. Okay. That is just to pause for a second. The thinking with me was the next thing I was going to do is grab, that guy on defense, essentially the quarterback of your defense. So it sounds like you're banking on Colson to kind of be that guy for Michigan.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a huge year. I think when you look at linebacker, it's not that deep right now. So I feel like it was a valuable, kind of pick right there to build your defense around, kind of like Cade and Blake on offense. So those are so you're back up.
All right. Well, I need to get to the quarterback because you have a good one. And we'll see what happens with the offensive line. But I'm going to go with the guy that everyone is kind of hyping up as the next in line to Aiden Hutchinson, David Ojabo, Mike Morris. He's being given the
Good
reins, so
pick.
to speak, as that next pass rusher in line. Another guy we've heard that's had a really good spring and is coming along. So my first pick there will be Mike Morris. Again, I'm going to stay on defense here because you have QB1, so I need to build the best possible defense I can get right now. And if I'm going to give Cade McNamara fits, I need to make sure his receiver, one, I get to him, and two, that his receivers are covered. So my pick, this will be my fourth pick, first pick of the fourth round here. I will go with DJ Turner at cornerback.
2 good picks. Um, yeah, I like those. Those are going to be two huge names on defense this year for sure. And I think both can make plays in the spring game. Mike Morris has a lot to prove. He actually had a big spring game last year based on what we had heard. So he's a guy that's been kind of waiting to come on for a while. I like those picks for you. I am going to go with pretty torn here. I'm going to go with Mozzie Smith at the nose tackle spot. And I'm just going to go right in the middle there with Oluwatimi, the Virginia transfer and Remington Award finalist from last season. So I'm feeling the nose in the center spot right there. Got to protect Cade.
Well, you're of the belief that a good team is built up the middle, right? And so Olu, really both of those picks, but Olu in particular is the one that really bothers me so far of how we've gotten here. So we will go to my pick in round 5 and circle back to me for round 6. I am going to, I got to build an offensive line too. And I am going to go with someone who last year, by several assistant coaches, was referred to as someone is potentially Michigan's best all-around offensive player. So pick one. I'm going to stick with Zach Zinter. We'll see how the rest of my offensive line plays out, but at the very least, we know he can play guard. He was getting reps at center last year in the preseason, so Zach Zinter will be my pick there. You know what? When I have an unproven quarterback, I need a reliable weapon that always finds himself open. And well, actually, hold on. Let me pause. My pick would be Ronnie Bell is he even working out right now?
Yeah, he's working out, but not full go. So, yeah, I would take him off the board. I forgot him at the top.
Well, I'm going to go to the next most reliable pass catcher in my mind, at least someone who burst onto the scene last year. I'm going to go with Eric All. If I'm going to have to run the ball a bit, I can trust him to seal off the edge. If I need a safety valve over the middle of the defense, I know I can go to him. So Eric All would be my pick at number 6. So going back to you.
It's a really good one. A guy I wrote about just about a little bit ago. Let's see. It's getting a little bit tougher depending on where you want to go with this. I'm going to go with Will Johnson at corner.
Ooh,
and
their first freshman off the board.
The first freshman off the board, and RJ Moten at safety.
Okay.
I feel like you had your corner there and DJ Turner. I don't want to get left out. I know Jamon Green's another good option. Safety's not very deep as well, so I'll take, in my mind, top of my safety board was RJ Moten. So
okay. Well, again, it's another one of those positions, safety, where if you don't get your guy, you're going to kind of be in trouble here. So, with Rod Moore out throughout the spring, Makari Page has been getting those reps. I know Keon Saab is an early enrollee. He's been getting those reps as well. But I'm going to go with Page because he has been in the lineup, getting reps there. They like what he's been able to bring so far. So I'm going to lock down one of my starting safety spots. Again, we're taking 2. You know what? I'll just take Keon Saab too. My safeties are done. I feel good about that. So, loading up on safeties here as we get into your pick in round 8.
Okay, I'm going to go with a guy who feels like he's one of the most versatile and potentially one of the best players in the country, Taylor Upshaw at the edge spot. You have Mike Morris. Those, in my mind, are the 2 top guys at that spot, so we're kind of splitting those. But I'll take Taylor Upshaw, and then give me Ryan Hayes at left tackle.
Okay, Ryan Hayes.
Got to protect that Cade McNamara blind side.
That's right. Okay, this is where, again, it feels like, so we've done, that's 17 players have come off the board so far, and we're starting to get into that area where I don't want to say that it's the lesser guys on the team, but it's, there's this big cluster of guys. Like I feel like what we've drafted so far are the core of this football team. And these other guys are just going to kind of, battle it out for bigger roles and replace some of those guys that you lost from last year's team. So, gosh, let's see here. I'm seeing what's still on the board.
Can I just say this while you think? It's a little tough because I kind of I have an idea of who you have, but I don't in real time. I don't see your roster, and you don't see mine, so it's gonna get a little tough as we go down the stretch here. We should have maybe made a Google Doc.
Nah, that's all right. I do have. I should share this with you, but then you'd see my draft board too. So, that's all right.
Fair.
I'm going to go. Let's see. I need to see what you've taken here. So, just a quick recap through the first 8 rounds. Clayton has made 9 picks so far, but Cade McNamara, Davis Warren were the first 2 picks. Donovan Edwards, Blake Corum. Again, we're snaking, so I'll just do it this way. Clayton so far has picked Cade McNamara, Blake Corum, Junior Colson, Mozzie Smith, Olu Oluwatimi, Will Johnson, R.J. Moten, Taylor Upshaw, Ryan Hayes. I have picked Davis Warren at quarterback, Donovan Edwards, Mike Morris, DJ Turner, Zach Zinter, Eric Hall, Makari Page, Keon Saab. I am going to load up here at a position that has not come off the board from either of us yet. Back-to-back picks. I talk about how I need reliable guys. I need playmakers. I'm going to go with both Cornelius Johnson and Roman Wilson with my next 2 picks. Get this wide receiver position shored up. 2 guys that have done a really nice job. Did a nice job stepping up last year with Ronnie Bell out. Michigan still can go kind of 6, maybe 7 deep there at wide receiver this year. But I think, after Ronnie Bell, those are the 2 probably the most reliable guys that are left right now. So all of a sudden, I feel really good about this team with my pass catchers, with Eric All, Cornelius Johnson, and Roman Wilson.
I think you did a really smart thing, not having Cade McNamara, but trying to surround Davis Warren with some good weapons there. You kind of have to. So, it's kind of funny. We strategize a little bit, and I know each of us thought about this over the last week or so. And like I said, I was writing down some notes for myself, but a lot of it came down to what actually happens during the draft. And then you go from there, you kind of pivot towards, what you have on your team, what you're building around. With that, and part of my strategy as well, and I'm sure you're thinking the same thing, is, well, he's trying to build around this. He wants this. I'm not going to let him have that. If I take some of those guys, then then he's not going to have some of these guys that maybe would fit better with his team. So that's part of it too. So with my next 2 picks, I'm going to take Trevor Keegan at left guard and Trente Jones at right tackle.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I feel bad about that one. That one kind of feels like
it's all right.
But you have some great weapons, and I have some great guys in the trenches, so it's kind of a trade-off.
Well, I mean, first of all, screw you. That was mean. It was mean, but that's fine. That's the name of the game here. We do this. I knew this would be the case.
Yeah,
I need to shore up the. I think the interior of my line, because I think that's where I'm going to get the best value here. You know what? No, I'm going to go. My next 2 picks will be. I'm going to take Carson Barnhart to play one of the tackle spots, and I will go with Greg Crippen to play center. Crippen, I know the assumption is that Olu is going to start at center for this team, but they've been hyping up Greg Crippen as a guy who's been competing with him. So again, I feel good about him being in that, maybe their top 7 or 8 in terms of, offensive linemen. So we'll go with Carson Barnhart, because I have to start protecting my quarterback as well, and Greg Crippen as my next 2 picks.
Okay, I like those. Man, that leaves me in an interesting spot where I may start filling out some spots. I think I'm going to take Nikhai Hill-Green at linebacker, and I think I'm going to take – man. I think I'm going to take –
It's getting difficult.
Chris Jenkins at D-tackle. You didn't take him, did you?
No, sir.
Okay. So Nikhai Hill-Green and Chris Jenkins, 2 defense.
Okay. So you have what is likely to be Michigan's 2 starting defensive tackles, or 2 starting defensive linemen in whatever configuration, and possibly both their starting linebackers. So good on you. I need to start filling some needs here as well. So I'm going to copy off of you and take Rayshawn Benny and Mike Barrett. as my next two picks.
Those are good. I was really close to going with Benny over Jenkins, but I'll take the experience. I'll take a guy who I think right now, based on what we've heard, is running with that top group. But obviously, Mike Elston, a lot of rotation there. So Benny is a guy I've been high on since they got him. So nice pick.
All right, we're moving into the last pick of round 14 here, Clayton.
So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 players only.
It's
bad radio.
It is bad radio.
We'll
You
cut
have 13 according to this. You have Cade McNamara. Again, we'll just run it down. Clayton so far, the Mays team has drafted Cade McNamara, Blake Corum, Junior Colson, Mozzie Smith, Olu Oluwatimi, Will Johnson, R.J. Moten, Taylor Upshaw, Ryan Hayes, Trevor Keegan, Trente Jones, Nakai Hillgreen, and Chris Jenkins.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. I just counted wrong. That's 13. I will take. It's getting tough, as you said. It's getting really, really tough. Man, give me Julius Welshoff on the defensive line. I have to fill that out, I believe. So I think I'm full, or I don't have a second edge, do I?
Neither of us do yet.
Okay, so I'll take Welshoff, I guess, there. I should have done edge as well. Give me Derek Moore, another true freshman on my defense. He has been impressive as an early enrollee, Under Armour game MVP. And I think he's kind of a dark horse to have a pretty big game. I feel like he's primed to break out.
I want to use so many curse words right now, but
there's still some edges
program.
out there.
It's a family program. I won't do
There's
that.
There's still some good edges out there.
There are. That's the thing about Michigan's edge situation, and I like that we can kind of take these little pauses to talk about the state of each group. And a lot of everyone in that room is unproven, even your projected starters. Jalen Harrell was a guy who got on the field and is probably more of I'll say a complete football player than David Ojabo was, just in terms of the fact that you can actually have him on the field during rundowns. I'm not saying he's better, but I guess I just gave away my next pick. I need a second edge rusher. I will go with Jalen Harrell, given that he was a starter. Not a starter, but he did play.
He started some games, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll go with him there. Got my second edge out of the way. I need to start taking a look at the other guys on this defense. Here's one for you. This one might make you mad. I'm gonna go with Mike Sainer still.
Yeah, he's the forgotten guy. I mean, I can't believe I didn't pick him yet.
Also, because in a spring game, I can have him play both sides of the ball, which is something that it seems like Michigan is kind of open to doing. So I will have him playing.
Yeah.
I don't think he's played a ton of. It doesn't sound like he's played a ton of boundary corner in the spring. But we need three of them. We need three corners because you do have that guy in the nickel. So I'll go with Sainer still there.
I mean, it's an outstanding pick. We're probably going to get ripped apart by people for not picking him earlier. He was actually decently high, and I just kind of started going in a different direction. He was decently high on my board, so great pick. I mean, it's insane he fell to the 15th round.
16th, technically, because you have the second 16th pick of the 16th round.
Okay. Is it still you or me?
It is you. I picked Jalen Harrell and Mike Sainer still.
Okay. Those are both good picks. I'm pretty much full on the D line. I'm full.
I know what makes me mad is I know exactly what you're going to do here. And it makes me, you don't know it yet, but I know what you're going to do. And it's going to make me angry.
Now you got in my head a little bit. Is Jamon Green on the board?
Jamon Green is on the board.
I have to take him.
Okay.
I have to. Was that, or maybe you don't want to stay, but
I'm exhaling a little bit, but we have, it's back-to-back picks, so I'm not there yet.
Okay. That leaves me to take Cornelius Johnson.
Nope, he's off the board. I took him.
Oh, you took him. You have him and Andrell?
I have him and Roman Wilson.
Him and Roman Wilson. Okay, I'll take Andrell Anthony.
Whew. Okay, so Jamon Green, Andrell
So,
Anthony.
yeah.
And Anthony's your first wide receiver, right? So
That's
far?
correct.
Okay, well, I'm going to make things really difficult for you here and do what I think you were going to do and take Darius Clemens. So I have my 3 wide receivers now.
Okay.
Okay. Exhaling a little bit there. Oh, goodness. What is left on this board? To recap my team so far, Davis Warren at quarterback, Donovan Edwards at running back, Mike Morris on the as the edge rusher, DJ Turner, Zach Zinter, Eric All, Makari Page, Keon Staub, Cornelius Johnson, Roman Wilson, Carson Barnhart, Greg Crippen, Rayshon Benny, Mike Barrett, Jalen Harrell, Mike Sainristil, Darius Clemens. So I need to mute my phone, first of all. And oh goodness, you know what? I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay kind of with building up my run game, so to speak. I need another tackle here. I'm running out of options. Tackles: Ryan Hayes, Trente Jones, Carson Barnhart, all off the board. You know what? I'm gonna go young here. I'm gonna go Tristan Bounds, fill out my other tackle spot, and it's your pick. I totally messed that up. It's your pick after that.
No, you're good. Okay. I have to fill out my offensive line as well. Looking at it, I'm going to take a guard in Reese Atterbury to fill that out. So my offensive line is Olu Oluwatimi, Ryan Hayes, Trevor Keegan, Trente Jones, and Reese Atterbury. My second pick here is going to be Jake Moody. I think
Ooh.
spring game, you settle for field goals a lot, this and that. Late in the game, when like some of the starters on offense and defense are out, and you're trying to get that kicker some work, I think he's still a valuable piece there. Once the starters are out on offense, I know we're kind of, I don't know, like we don't have backups, but once those guys are out, I feel like you're going to be settling for a lot of field goals.
You're not wrong. Again, just looking from a backup quarterback perspective, JJ, maybe he goes through through drills on Saturday. He won't play in this game. Alan Bowman, Alex Orji, and Jaden Denegal are some of the other guys there. If you're looking at quarterbacks, we're not. I mean, our quarterback situation is done and out of the way. We could have drafted too deep at every position, but we'd be here for 16 hours.
Yeah, it's just not as
Yeah. So I need to round out my offensive line, and I'm going to take. Let's see what I have here. Zach Zinter, Greg Crippen, Tristan Bounds, Carson Barnhart. I'm going to go with Giovanni El Hadi. It's a guy was an early enrollee last year, someone who will compete. We think to compete for a spot in the 2 deep this year. So I'll go with him. Finish off my offensive line, and then next guy I'm very surprised is still on the board, but I'm cool with it because I'm going to take him. I'm going to go with Luke Schoonmaker at tight end.
I was actually going to say it. I was going to pick him next and tell you that you should have screwed me over with waiting on the tight ends there. So good pick, because I kind of did that with the offensive line where you just kind of hoard them.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to lead me to now take. I'm going to go with AJ Henning at the slot.
Okay.
He's a versatile guy. I feel like you could feed him some touches out of the backfield too. He tweeted that he wants to be in a Deebo Samuel type of role. So why not? I would let him do it if I were the coach, which I guess I am in this mock scenario. So I have AJ Henning, and as I look at things here, I will go with my guy Louis Hansen, who's apparently had a pretty good spring himself. Can catch, can block. I think he's a pretty complete tight end, kind of after those first two guys, Eric and Luke.
Okay. This is where it gets difficult and so God, I don't know how we're into round 21 now. So this, for those of you watching or listening, this is mercifully, this is, I don't know how good of a radio or podcast segment it is. It is coming to an end soon, so we'll do takeaways here in a second. I need another starting defensive tackle if the format I sent out is accurate. It appears it is. So I will go with George Rooks, another guy we've heard is having a pretty good spring.
Yep.
And I need another inside linebacker, so I will go with Jaden Hood. Why?
Nice
Because
pick.
I need one, and we haven't seen much of him yet. So,
Yep. I'm going to round out my defensive backfield. And that would leave me with picking Quentin Johnson at the safety spot. And I'm going to go with Cody Jones as the nickel. Steve Klinkskell spoke pretty highly of what he's been able to do covering guys out of the nickel corner spot. So those are my 5 DBs. So my DBs are RJ Moten, Quentin Johnson, Cody Jones, Will Johnson, and Jamon Green.
Okay. Well, I need someone to. I'm torn on this next one because I need one more defensive back as well, or I think I need two more actually, because I've gone with DJ Turner, Bakari Page, Keon Saab. Yeah, I need two more. So let me fill out some needs here, and I will go with. Oh God. Well, there's one corner left in Miles Pollard, so I'll go with him. And then who am I missing here? This is terrible radio.
It
I'll
is.
go. You know what? I like this guy a ton, and I feel like he's gonna make a play in a game this year that's gonna be super important. And he was actually the starting punt returner for a couple games last year. I'm gonna go with Caden Colasar. Bit of an
Utility
everyman
type of
back
guy.
there.
Yeah.
So
Not a bad one.
that's the first pick of round 24. So Clayton, you have two picks, and that's it.
Yeah, this is it for me. It's getting a little tight here. I need another receiver. And I'm really torn between Christian Dixon, who's more of an outside guy, Amorian Walker, more of an outside guy, and Tyler Morris. Do I take another slot? Don't necessarily know if that's going to pair too well with AJ Henning. So I am going to go, just to confirm, Cornelius is off the board. I have Andrell, you have Roman Wilson, and then I have Henning. Those are all gone, just to confirm.
Yes, I also have Darius Clemens.
And you have Clemens, sorry. Yep, that's correct. And then, okay, so I'm going to go with, it's really tough. I'm going to go with Christian Dixon. I'm going to go a little experience. Amorian Walker's had a good spring, but he's going to fill out my wide receivers. Keep in mind, I have Cade McNamara, so, that helps the pass game as well, just for all the voters out there. Pandering a little bit. And what else do I need? I need an offensive weapon. Is that right?
I believe that is correct. I think that's
Because I have
that's all
have
that's
my
left
D
for you.
line. I have my two inside backers. I have my corners. I have my safeties, and I have my nickel.
I have even numbers at every position that's come off the board so far. So I think whatever you're saying you need, and we can revisit this because we have the power to do so.
If I mess up here, then
right,
we can make me repick or something like that with the leftovers.
sure.
So I need my offensive weapon. So that could get me one of those receivers as well, or it could get me.
I'll say this: I still see there are two, because I'm not going to take one. There are two tight ends still on the board.
There are. It's tough whether or not I want to go with one of them or another receiver. Man, I'm gonna go with Joel Honigford. I want to block, man. I want a guy that can block. I have some, um, I got some hogs up there, man, in the trenches with my O line, and adding Joel to that, a former offensive lineman at the tight end spot. I'll go with him.
Yeah. I only have one position left that I haven't addressed. That's a kicking specialist. I'm going to do something that's very controversial here, but hear me out.
No, I think I know what you're gonna do. I like it
I'm going to take Tommy Doman
because he
because
can do both.
he can
Yep.
do both, and we only get one. So,
Yep.
not to say that Brad Robbins can't kick field goals, but also he's a hell of a holder. So, if we added a holder spot, I may have gone with him here. But
That's where it gets tough because it's like a guy could do that, but we don't have that spot. So what do we? But no, I'll give you that for sure.
okay, Tommy Doman will be my pick there.
It's
That's
a good one.
25. That is 50 players off the board. Wow, I mean that actually flew a little quicker than I thought it would. Just to recap the two teams, again, we'll have to do something where we put each guy's team in the description below so people can kind of follow along. But Clayton went with Cade McNamara, Blake Corum, Junior Colson, Mozzie Smith, Olu Oluwatimi, Will Johnson, R.J. Moten, Taylor Upshaw, Ryan Hayes, Trevor Keegan, Trente Jones, Nikai Hill Green, Chris Jenkins, Julius Welshoff, Derek Moore, Jamon Green, Andrell Anthony, Reese Atterbury, Jake Moody, AJ Henning, Lewis Hanson, Quentin Johnson, Cody Jones, Christian Dixon, and Joel Honigford. My team, the blue team, went Davis Warren, the quarterback, Donovan Edwards, Mike Morris, DJ Turner, Zach Zinter, Eric All, Makari Page, Keon Saab, Cornelius Johnson, Roman Wilson, Carson Barnhart, Greg Crippen, Rayshon Benny, Mike Barrett, Jalen Harrell, Mike Sainristil, Darius Clemens, Tristan Bounds, Giovanni El Hadi, Luke Schoonmaker, George Rooks, Jaden Hood, Miles Pollard, Caden Colzar, and Tommy Doman. It is virtually impossible that we did not screw this up somewhere because there were so many picks that we had to make. We will see. We will revisit that after the fact and see if there are any changes that need to be made. But honestly, all these are names on a spreadsheet to me right now. So I don't have a ton of takeaways here. I think that the early thing I look at here is I like the way my offense came together around a quarterback that is, I mean, it's called spade a spade. He's not the starting quarterback on a Big Ten champion team. We don't know a whole lot other than that. But I like how my offense came together. Defensively, I think I did okay. I think your defense is better, but again, it feels, when you look at this, just the names I'm looking at on paper, I think that it feels pretty evenly matched, and I would watch the hell out of this spring game.
For sure. And I think I was thinking about this as we were going as well. This has happened already. I think they did their draft today based on a couple tweets. Aaron Bills, the great graphic designer for Michigan, looks like he's on the Maze team, so shout out to him. But so it looks like they did this, and I'm guessing the coaches had some similar reactions to us, some similar picks. I think the teams are going to be split pretty similarly there, and you go with some strategy. Obviously, some position coaches are going to have some favoritism on some of their guys, push to draft some of their guys, so that's going to impact who has a better what in terms of position groups. So that's going to be really interesting to look for when they take the field. But I think our teams would match up pretty well on the field. I'll say this about my team. I like what I have at the line of scrimmage. As you mentioned, I like my linebacking core with Junior Colson, Nikai Green. I really like having Will Johnson there, Jamon Green, R.J. Moten. I feel like the secondary is pretty good there. Little young and weaker at the nickel and other safety spot. And then
the entire team is, though, to be fair.
My team's young, you're saying?
Well, just Michigan in general is young in the secondary. So I think that's an issue with both of our teams.
That's a good point. So feel decent about that. You have better offensive weapons in terms of skill position guys, but I have the quarterback and Blake Corum I still like, Andrell Anthony I still like. So I feel like I was, just to reveal some of my strategy, once I got Cade, I was pretty much bearing down the priority list offensive skill players. I was saying I don't really care that much about that. I'd rather go get some other guys to either protect the quarterback, get after your quarterback, make him uncomfortable. And if I didn't get Cade, one of my big things was I wanted to stock up on defensive backs to try to stop him and try to neutralize that. So, given I'm not going to have much of a pass game, but so much to go into it. We'll have more content, as you said, on the site. And I think people will be decently interested in this. And I can tell you from the fans I've talked to, they're excited for Saturday. So,
Yeah, I mean, weather-wise, I think we're still looking at. Let me pull up the app here. Um, 49, 50 degrees ish. It looks like it's going to be cloudy, but that's football weather. It's actually probably a little bit warmer than football weather, especially fans of any Michigan fans or Big Ten fans. Like, it's usually a lot colder than that when they play. So that'll make for an interesting game atmosphere. Other than that, we'll get this situated and socked away, and we'll have our takeaways from the draft. We'll say what our team's strengths are, what our team's weaknesses are, and who knows, maybe we'll score it and see who does what on Saturday, and then we'll know who actually won. So,
it's true.
any other final thoughts here? I think
Just that,
I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out for me, honestly.
yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Hopefully people enjoyed it. We're trying to do, mix it up a little bit. Anthony and I, trying to add some different stuff. I will say, head to the site. We're going to have an article with this video in there, but listed out the teams by position, because I know it's kind of hard to follow along a super,
Yeah.
super great with this format. But we will have them all listed out, and you can probably have a poll on the message board and all that on, have some fun with it. So great
Yeah.
stuff, Anthony. Great hosting.
Oh, thank you. And feel free, if you're someone who's watching or listening to it, like, what would your board look like, or who would your first pick be, or who of our team, like, we want to hear all that feedback. So you be sure to um, interact with us on the board. Our $1 deal is still live. You can obviously tweet stuff at us as well. I'll throw our Twitter stuff in the description for this. But if you're here watching on YouTube, be sure to hit that subscribe button below. Let's get those subscription numbers up. Click the bell to be notified when we publish new videos and such. For those of you who listened to it, which I can't believe, I'm glad that you did. I won't self-deprecate here. I'm glad that you're here with us. Obviously, you can listen to our shows on Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. If we're not, let us know. We'll try and get there. So for Clayton, Sayfie, I'm Anthony Broome. Thank you for joining us here on the Wolverine.com Spring Game Draft Podcast. Maybe we'll see you Saturday. But thanks for hopping in with us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Go Maze.